Rachel Zegler didn't just get roasted, she got cartooned. In the span of a few weeks, Family Guy, South Park, and now even The Simpsons have all taken turns dragging her, mocking Disney, and torching everything the company tried to rebrand. This isn't some fringe internet beef. This is an all-out cultural takedown. And Rachel's right in the center of it. It started with Family Guy. One episode, one meme, and suddenly Disney's $500 million Snow White remake became a running joke. The scene? Peter Griffin walks through Disneyland looking lost, while a roller coaster labeled Disney Stock crashes in the background. Subtle, not even close. But they didn't stop there. Peter flips through the TV and sees someone attractive. "Wow, that girl's hot," he says. "That's a guy," his friend replies. It happens again and again.
"Wow, that girl's hot.
That's a guy.
That other guy's handsome.
That's a girl.
That cat is cute.
That's a dog.
What is everything?"
It was hilarious, but it was also brutal. It summed up exactly how millions of people feel watching Hollywood today, confused, annoyed, and just flat out done with forced reinventions. And even though Family Guy never said Rachel's name, everyone knew. This wasn't a throwaway gag, it was a shot across the bow, aimed directly at Disney. And Zegler was caught in the crossfire. She's become the face of the exact thing people are tired of. From the moment she was cast as Snow White, fans questioned the move. But it wasn't just the casting, it was the interviews, the comments, the tone-deaf TikToks. One clip showed her walking into an empty theater to see her own film, bouquet of flowers in hand, smiling like it was a red carpet premiere. But behind her, just a handful of bored-looking people. No buzz, no crowd, no excitement. Fans didn't see a blockbuster, they saw a funeral, and they called it that too. Then came South Park. And if Family Guy fired shots, South Park dropped a nuke. In their Joining the Panderverse special, they tore Disney apart line by line. Kathleen Kennedy was reimagined as a power-hungry exec with a magical object called the Pander Stone. Her mission? Insert diverse women into every franchise, whether it made sense or not.
You check under the bed and make sure there's no Disney executives under there.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, only this time, it wasn't just me. They were taking all my favorite people and replacing them with diverse women complaining about the patriarchy.
It's a brand new exclusive event with all your favorite South Park characters.
Dude, school is going to be so awesome today.
I had explosive diarrhea all night.
I like big boobs.
Oh, hamburgers.
How does this even make any sense?
It makes perfect sense. I think the problem is you.
You think it's perfectly normal that Cartman is suddenly a black woman?
You probably don't like that Indiana Jones got replaced by a female either, huh? Probably have a problem with Black Spider-Man, too.
The episode had Cartman bouncing through universes where every classic character was replaced with a preachy, corporate-approved clone. And then, the moment that lit the internet on fire, Kennedy throws her arms up and screams, "Put a chick in it and make her gay."
Put another gay diverse woman in it, make it more lame. And the Disney stuff.
No, make it more lame. That is exactly what they're doing. And that is why we hate the diversity, equity, and inclusion casting and writing in movies.
And that line became a slogan. Not for the show, but for how people now see Disney. Forced, formulaic, hollow, and somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, Rachel Zegler again. But just when you thought that was the peak, The Simpsons quietly dropped their own jab. Remember, Disney owns The Simpsons now, but that didn't stop them from poking at their corporate overlords. In a recent episode, The Simpsons mocked Marvel fatigue, mocked reboot culture, and yes, hinted directly at the Snow White disaster.
All that walking made me sleepy. This bed's too hard. This bed's too soft. And this bed is just like the first one. Also too hard. I guess I'll sleep in the one that's too soft. Because a woman shouldn't have to depend on a man. Snow White was brought back to life by a lady doctor.
And she lived happily ever after?
Well, she couldn't indulge in strenuous activities like handball, but otherwise, she was fine.
That's nice.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Maybe she's been placed under some kind of a curse.
And all that will wake her is the kiss of a
I'm
handsome...
awake already! So Snow White slept and waited for her prince to come, but he never did.
The symbolism here? Devastating, because when even the properties you own are roasting you, you've lost control of the narrative, and that narrative keeps getting worse. Jonah Platt, son of the film's producer, didn't hold back. He publicly stated that Rachel's interviews, social media presence, and general vibe all made things worse. According to him, the movie didn't just flop because of bad writing or poor timing, it flopped because people were turned off by Rachel herself. She was cast in a role that was always going to spark debate. Snow White, literally described in the original tale as having skin white as snow, now being played by a Latina actress. That choice alone was going to get people talking. But Rachel didn't help herself by calling the original movie weird, the prince a stalker, and insisting her version would be stronger. Fans weren't just upset about changes. They felt insulted, like their childhood favorite had been rewritten with a side of moral superiority. Then the political mess hit. Rachel signed a public letter supporting a ceasefire in Gaza. Her co-star Gal Gadot is famously pro-Israel. That alone created awkward tension. But then Lebanon banned the film entirely. Not because of Rachel, but because of Gadot. Now the remake wasn't just a controversial reimagining, it was an international flashpoint. And if that wasn't enough, old TikToks of Rachel resurfaced. More hot takes, more backlash, another apology. But the damage had already been done. By the time the movie actually came out, it felt like people weren't watching a film. They were watching a PR disaster play out in real time. Behind the scenes, Disney started panicking. Internal talks of a course correction. Studio memos leaked, executives trying to figure out how to win back their audience, but audiences weren't interested in a fix. They were tired. Tired of reboots, tired of lectures, tired of spending $15 on a ticket just to get scolded. Which brings us to Tangled. Yep, the next Disney remake. And guess who was supposed to star in it? Rachel Zegler. The budget? Over $500 million. All in with marketing. But here's the twist. The project has reportedly been paused, not delayed, not in development. Paused because Snow White's fallout was that bad. Fans weren't excited. They were furious. Even loyal Disney supporters started asking, why are you doing this again? And when the early backlash is this loud before filming even starts, it's usually a sign to pull the plug, or at least hit pause and rethink the strategy. The craziest part? This isn't just about Rachel. It's not even just about Snow White. It's about Disney's entire identity. They used to be about timeless storytelling, magic, characters you could believe in. Now, it feels like they're selling brands, not stories, messaging, not meaning, and even their own properties, Family Guy, South Park, The Simpsons, are turning against them. The big question now, is Disney even listening? Because if you're getting clowned by every major animated show on television, not just once, but in coordinated fire, it's not just satire anymore, it's a warning shot. And if Tangled ends up suffering the same fate as Snow White, the roast won't be funny, it'll be the obituary for a generation of Disney storytelling. Let me know what you think. Is this backlash justified? Or are people just looking for someone to blame?